Are you a coach who's tired of drowning in complex marketing strategies? Welcome to Simple Client Attraction for Coaches, the bite sized podcast that transforms how women coaches attract their ideal clients without the complicated systems or endless marketing tasks. I'm your host, Sandra Fidelis, and each episode I bring you straight talking conversations with successful coaches and industry experts who share their most effective and simple client attraction strategies. Subscribe now and discover how to fill your practice with dream clients in less time than it takes to enjoy your morning coffee. Okay, so today we have Mackenzie Stewart, who is a professional certified coach with a background in marketing who supports coaches and heart-centered entrepreneurs in building business and that are rooted in alignment, clarity, and authenticity. After years in the marketing world, she saw firsthand how one-size-fits-all strategies often leave entrepreneurs burnt out and disconnected. And now she helps coaches cut through the noise, reconnect with their core message, and find alignment and really share their work without forcing themselves into someone else's blueprint. So she believes that there's no right way to grow a business, and her approach blends mindset, strategy, and self-trust to help coaches grow with clarity, confidence, and alignment. So we're in for a treat today because she is sharing with us how to have more aligned attraction and find clients without feeling salesy. So welcome, Mackenzie.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, Sandra.
So you work with a lot of coaches, so you might see a lot of the quote unquote mistakes that they make trying to get clients. So can you share with us what you think is like the top one that keeps them from getting clients?
Yes, I would say the one that really speaks to my heart the most that I see so often that I'm like, oh, if people just knew this one thing, then it would transform the amount of time it takes for a coach to become successful and get paid for what they're doing. And that's that people often look to the external world to tell them what to do, which is so funny because as coaches, we know that we have our own answers, but when we're in a new space, even as a business owner, we're suddenly like, oh my gosh, I've never been a business owner before. I don't know what it's like to be a professionally certified coach, be in this space. And so we're looking to the external world to be like, how do I develop this thing? And how do I be on social media? And so for me, when I first became a coach, even with my marketing background, I had pretty much one example of what a successful coach was. And so she was very business oriented and very buttoned up business professional. I always tell people that. And that's just not who I am. I always tell my
Yeah.
clients, I say like and so, and I'm joking around in sessions, and I just want to feel fully myself. I've been wearing masks my entire life, and I'm like, I did not come into coaching to put another mask on. I want to feel fully myself. But in that space, I spent so long trying to build my business like that, and then I was having conversations with people that were attracted to that type of person, which is not actually me. And so while I was starting to build my business, it was starting to put me back in the same box that I had when I was in my business roles. And so for me, it was like taking that off and being like, what do I actually want from my business? Why did I get into this in the first place? And starting from the ground of what is important to me? What do I want my business to look like? And moving forward in that direction, starting within instead of looking to the external world to show me my answers. So I think that goes
Mm.
as far as building out things such as, are you focused with individuals, groups? Do you really want to do online? And also your marketing of it doesn't only have to be social media. It doesn't only have to be public speaking. Let's find what feels really good and aligned for you and move forward with that direction, even if you're getting all of this external noise from the world.
Exactly. So really not trying to copy what someone else's idea of success is for them, or their path is to success.
Yeah.
And it kind of brings me back to a client of mine who one day was like, "Hey, so, are you gonna wear a nice blouse and do your hair and makeup and stuff one day?" I'm like, "No, I got it a corporate so I could wear my hair in a bun and wear yoga pants."
Yeah.
Right?
That's so true. It's like, let's
Every
not
day.
forget why we did this. We don't want to wear,
Ex-
don't want to be like that.
Exactly. So that's, what you mean by okay, I'm doing my business my way, right?
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you to attract clients in a way that really feels good?
Yeah, I think I would bring it back to I think that fits as far as the structure of your business and what you're building, as far as people being like, you have to structure it this way and it has to be your signature package, and then, have these funnels and set up all of these steps and things like that. And I worked for an internet marketing department. I did all of those things. And I think I know that people often get distracted by spending so much time setting those things up. So, from that perspective of what do you want your business to look like? Individuals, groups, online marketing, what fits your lifestyle that you're trying to create, that sort of thing. And then also from the marketing perspective, back to, do you hate social media marketing? That's okay. That's not what you have to spend your time doing. I have a student who she loved orchestrating journal sessions, and that felt so good to her to have journaling and talk through what's coming up for people. And she hated social media, she hated online visibility. And so what she did was she went into a local bookstore and she proposed to have like a journaling class.
That's
And they were
excellent.
like, yes. And so then she got to make connections. The bookstore was the ones that promoted it for her. And then she got to be in a space where she was a coach. She was doing exactly what felt aligned for her. She was able to make those connections that eventually turn into, potential clients down the road. So, looking at it from the facet of marketing and making sure that the things you're doing are aligned with you. Because the other thing is, if you're trying to do social media and it feels really misaligned, then you are going to burn out so easily, right? Like you
Yep.
can't sustain that for years on end, and it's not even like what you want to be doing. So finding something that feels good for you in marketing and getting yourself out there, attracting clients, but then also with your like quote unquote offer suite, right? Like what you're doing, what you're putting out there, that side of things. And then once you're in alignment with like, okay, this is what I want my business to look like, this is how I want to get out there, then when you feel so confident in that, then you're going to start expressing yourself more, and you're going to feel really good about putting yourself out there in the ways that do feel aligned, so that you're not hiding behind the screen or those sort of things. And then with that, you can start throwing things at the wall. You can start being like, okay, for me, I had one of the very first programs I did was self-care for the selfless. So it was this small group where it was nurses and caregivers and people that give so much to other people, and it was a space for them to start giving to themselves. And I got real clear on I wanted to help that specific demographic. And once I knew that, then I could start throwing all of these different methods for getting people into that, with confidence, right? So I was doing like informational interviews and starting to gather information on that specific demographic and their struggles and how I can help. And I started, now my signature September self-care challenge. That was just a free 7-day challenge for people to participate in. So it was like these other forms of support for people, that were free, and getting into conversations around that, because I was so confident in the direction that I was going. I was, in a non-attached way, just throwing different things at the wall to start bringing that specific demographic into the group.
to figure out exactly who, who's right for it, exactly what you really want to be focusing on.
Yeah.
Um, so with that, like once you know what is the like the foundational stuff, like how you want to run your business, what type of business model you want, that is in alignment for you, and then like what is the type of way that you get yourself in front of your ideal client. What's like one simple thing that a coach can do this week to start attracting more clients?
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's been recommended on the podcast already, but I always recommend Prosperous Coach, which is very much based on, some things will resonate, some things might not, but very much based on conversations and relationships being what leads to a prosperous coaching business. So, one of the techniques that I tell my clients and a lot of coaches is when I first started, I would track the amount of conversations I had where I mentioned that I was a coach, because that's so anxiety inducing when you're first starting
Yes.
introducing yourself as a coach. So I would track how often I was having conversations related to coaching. And then I would have another column that tracked the amount of intro sessions I invited people into. The third column was how many intro sessions I actually had. And then the fourth column was how many clients that I got. So tying this back to like the marketing and the business related things, Everything from there, I believe, starts with a conversation. I don't think people will find me online and then, pay thousands of dollars to work with me without ever having a conversation and knowing if we're a good fit. So the
Yeah.
value of that initial conversation and building the relationship is huge and foundational for your business. And so with that, there's a direct correlation between having conversations, between inviting people to intro sessions, between intro sessions and paid clients. So it should be like a direct correlation. So when I was first starting out, I would track and just see the buildup of that. And that's honestly something when I'm seeing, where am I at, how many clients can I onboard this month? It's like, how many intro sessions am I having? So that is just starting to track how often
Mm.
you're doing that. You will see a direct correlation in the amount of clients that you're having from those conversations.
I love that. I love the tracking of that because that keeps you, focused on what's really important, right? Which is having
Right.
conversations and maybe not spending hours on Canva doing the thing
Uh,
that is most comfortable to you. It's really the conversations.
yes, exactly. Right. Like not getting distracted by all the shiny things. So,
Yep. Yeah. The fun, easy things to do, right?
right. Yes.
Um, so can you share with us? I know, Mackenzie, that you have some treats to share with us, and we're going to have all the links in there. But can you share with us? I know you have a goodie that you're going to be giving to everyone. Can you tell them about it, please?
Yes. So I have a free From Fear to Freedom guide. That's a downloadable workbook just to help you navigate and work with fear as you're moving through whatever it is that you are in. I also work with non-coaches. So if it's both the coaches and the entrepreneurs, and then also just regular people working through fear. So I have that going on. I also have a bi-monthly free workshop that's aligned with that. So if you go to my website, you'll be able to see when the next one of that is. And I also have obviously complimentary sessions at all times. So if you ever want to dive deep, we have that available. And then I have my Amplify retreat coming up in October in San Diego. So this is a women's retreat where women are coming from across the country to really clear away all the distractions and all the pieces that are pulling at them so they can tap into their inner fire and amplify that. It's called Amplify, to be able to bring that fire back into the world. And then the last thing that I have going on is my Illuminate mantra and oracle deck, which I'm so grateful for your compliment on. But this really follows my theme of we know our answers, and tuning into your intuition, your true self, whatever you want to identify as, to be able to take that information and be able to move forward with that insight.
Excellent. Guys, you have to check it out. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Beautiful and beautifully done. So,
Thank you.
Mackenzie, can you share one nugget that you want everyone to take away from this conversation?
Okay, one nugget, seriously, above all else, get into conversations. Get into conversations. I often get the pushback of I'm an introvert, I just stay in my house all day. But no matter where you are, there are spaces that you can start to create relationships. If you like books, join a book club. If you are a mountain biker, join a mountain biking. Like get into conversations, start making those connections, and be brave in sharing who you are and what you do.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I would love to have you back.
Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Simple Client Attraction for Coaches. Want to launch your own interview style podcast? Grab the free Launch an Interview Style Podcast Guide at sandrafidelis.com/podcast guide, or point your camera at the QR code on the video to download. I hope today's bite-sized strategies have given you practical ideas you can implement right away in your coaching business. If you'd like to watch the video of our interview, then head on over to simpleclientattractionforcoaches.com. Did you find value in today's episode? If so, please share it with other coaches in your network who could benefit from these straightforward bite-sized strategies. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us. Until next time, remember, client attraction doesn't have to be complicated.
Small, consistent actions can lead to remarkable results. I'll see you in our next episode with more simple strategies to help your coaching business thrive.